8, 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cycle 16, Day 2. Balcikonis, alumnus of many past cycles and faculty past cycles, is with us today. And his topic, his workshop is on startups. Start your startup at Cycle 16. I think we'll learn lessons that are valuable beyond that. So without further ado, Eddy, take it away.
Hello, people of the internet. I shall sit down and talk to these people in present, and then we can also communicate like this later on. I'll show you some slides. So it's fine. I think they can see me and they can see the audience. People wave at people of the internet. People of the internet. So today I was preparing to do a very technical presentation about step-by-step preparation and doing customer development, basically testing your idea, finding first initial potential clients who could give you feedback on how to further develop your, how to find a business model, how to find developers, designers, prepare your pitch deck for investors, kind of cover it all quickly, give a lot of resources and links that I have gathered through 7 years of working with startups, and then on Thursday do a huge workshop of all these presentations that are gonna be prepared, like dozens of presentations are gonna be prepared, and we're gonna like start fundraising straight away here in Cycle, and close the round, and we're almost billionaires all over here, and everything's kind of shining. It's gonna be no more rain. Happiness is gonna. But then I checked how many people signed up for this and how many people sent me a presentation. So I got one presentation by Evaldes. Evaldes, if you're watching, awesome idea, awesome presentation. We're gonna get so for Thursday, instead of a workshop, we're just gonna get hopefully on a call one-on-one with you. There's definitely a lot of potential there, and I'll be happy to help you and introduce you to some investors if you need that, or business development guys, or whatever else you need. And for today, I'm gonna scale down. I'm gonna go all the way down to the fundamentals of working with startups, because in the end, startups are the most the sexiest trends in entrepreneurship still, I think, and there's a lot of interesting trends in startups. But people tend to focus on details, on minor details, focusing on the value, on the real business value that they should be creating this, and then instead they focus on, they spend the weeks on thinking of a name for the business, thinking what other people will say if they start working on this business, thinking about how to do this presentation, about the product that no one gives a shit yet because you haven't done anything. So people focus on all the wrong things, and then they don't do what's important. So I'm gonna try and put it all in my own story to examples, because that's what inspires me over people and their stories. So I'm going to start with how I got involved in startups, and how I moved through kind of like my journey, and found opportunities, new opportunities to start working on, and to some of these opportunities turned out to be viable business ideas, viable startup ideas, and then they turned out that they are there's something that is a viable startup that I can fundraise, I can find investors to, and then I can find clients, and I can generate money, but it's all went step by step. So I want to start kind of like in the beginning of my career, if we can call it like that. I guess we can. I was still in university, and I was getting interested in the whole internet movement, and getting involved in a bunch of different events. I didn't know what I wanted to do, really. I didn't know what will happen in the future. I was just really interested in internet, and I knew I will do my own business. My parents were small business owners. I was learning all my life through them how important it is do your best and create value in this way. You create something, you hire people, you're paying salaries, you're basically creating wealth for everyone and making everyone benefits from it. Even by paying taxes, you support pensioners, and it doesn't matter. Let's not go into this. So anyway, so in university, I got really interested in internet, and the internet was my subject that I was going to do businesses in. I dedicated most of my studies exploring and trying to learn as much about marketing, internet, and so on. My bachelor thesis about internet marketing in China, which was pretty hard for me to do because I was studying. So having to convince your professors that instead of economics and macro analysis of some bullshit topic, I'm just going to write about internet marketing and e-commerce trends in China was a bit of a challenge, but it really helped me because it kind of gave me the understanding of a broader terms of internet marketing, of basically what I'm doing every day now, and helped me start my first businesses. Here, what was important, I'm not going to go into details how I managed to convince these professors. Here, what is important that I knew what I was passionate about, I was interested about, it was internet, and then I had an attitude of doing it and asking people to let me do it or help me. So what Lobo was referring previously, that attitude is everything. So that's step number one, people. Internet people, attitude is the most important thing in startups, because when you talk about startups, especially the beginning, you're talking about nothing, about thin air. There's only an idea, and you need to go from idea to something that's generating value and revenue. So everything that's going to happen is going to happen because of your attitude to do it. Second thing, interest. Find your interest. Find your passion. Experiment. I mean, I tried from my high school to end of university, I tried working in constructions, in sales, in restaurants, in banks. I was working in large corporate banking sector as a manager's assistant. I tried to go into politics. I was a political party member. I was working for NGOs. I was going to Council of Europe, joint meetings with youth NGOs and representing European branches of some NGOs I was involved. So experiment all these things, find one thing that interests you, and then dig into it. So attitude, and then knowing what's interesting for you are first fundamental corner steps to start thinking about startups. Moving forward, I was going to all kinds of events, and I was finding all kinds of interesting people. For example, the photos here, we went to one of the first startup events in Lithuania, Startup Jam, where he at that point, Photos was working with this project called Cinemeo.com, where they were building kind of like a YouTube clone in for Lithuanian market and maybe for Eastern European market in the future. And we had a couple of friends, a few friends working on it together. They already had kind of like the product, the idea, and Bodos just needed someone to present it in the event because his partners were not present at the event, and he wasn't feeling ready to present. So I said, well, I'm gonna do it, no problem. So, and this way I presented in events. Nothing really came out of it, but we had a lot of fun. We thought about the business model of how to build a clone. So this is all the way back in 2006 or 2007. So by that time, YouTube was just springing up, and every country had clones of YouTube, and you could actually build business on that, just copying. Copying is always good, especially something successful. Oh, you want to say something?
No.
Okay. Feel free to raise your hand and ask questions at any time. So, nothing really came out of it, but here I want to just point out, like, if you're going to go for startup, thin air, nothing, right? So you have your attitude, you know already what's interested in you. And then once you start going into field, it's super important to take on opportunities. 90% of the time, nothing is gonna come out of it. I mean, we're still good friends with Polos. We still remember that, and it's just something I learned a lot just from presenting that product, getting feedback from participants in that event, trying to find maybe clients or investors for this deal. I didn't risk anything. We didn't succeed. I didn't lose anything. All I gained is knowledge, experience, and important connections to Polos and other guys who can use it in the future. So, and I kept doing this. Attitude, interest, and then taking on opportunities. After I finished my studies, I was really bored. And I was inspired by Lobo, Casey, all the international people traveling everywhere and doing everything. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I know that I want to work with the internet. I know what I'm doing on my business. And I'm opportunistic. I'm going to take every opportunity to get. So I need to put myself in a position where I get the most opportunities, the most deal flow, the most ideas, and so on. I thought at that point of time, BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, were all growing super fast. Everything economy was looking really well. It's before economic crisis. Or no, actually, it was already after economic crisis, then economy was already getting better. So I decided I need to go to India. I thought about China initially, just like everyone else, but my sister was already in China, so that country was out of options. I didn't want to be with my sister in the same country. We get along really well. Then you have a large distance between us. We like each other's Facebook posts, but we need to live together. It's really was. Anyways, so I tried Russia. Oh, by the way, again, trying things. So Russia was closer to Lithuania. I had opportunities to go to Russia. I went to Moscow for a couple of months. Didn't really like it. Let's just put it like strong racism, aggressive people, and alcohol and everything, and chaos and whatever. I didn't just see it as productive. I saw it as a very dry society. I didn't like Moscow from that point of view. I love Moscow and Russian people, and I love Moscow architecture, but I just couldn't stay. So again, finding what you like, just going, testing. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go to India. Well, how do you go to India, for God's sakes? You just can't just go to India and stay and start a business there. You need a visa. That's number one. So you can't just open a business in India. You need a serious investment of capital, and you need to find a local partner. I didn't have capital. I didn't know anyone in India. You can't do that. So the option that I found most reasonable, actually find a job, work for someone in India. Okay, so I'll start looking for a job. I find this advertising agency in Hyderabad, and they accept me. I just wrote them, they accept me. I think actually it went through email, and then I just wrote them, and they accept me. I was like, all right, I have a job. They sign the invitation letter for me, and I go with this letter to a consulate of India. And then they say, you're not getting a visa. No one gets a visa to India. In India, we have all the specialists we need. We don't need any more specialists. Literally, even if you're a most qualified engineer from Ericsson or whatever, you can't get a visa to India. They literally told me this example, how recently some people from Lithuania, super qualified engineers, didn't get work visa. Yes, you can go as a holidays, you can't work, and you can't start business. So I'm thinking, well, what do I? So I started talking to the woman and trying to figure out if there's any way around this. Well, she says, well, the only people who get visas are Isaac people, and Isaac is this student entrepreneurship kind of like internship program where you go abroad and you work for some company, and you can even earn a salary, but you can do it only in university, or and if I was already pretty sad that I can't do it anymore because I was out of university, apparently you can still do it 2 years after you graduate from university. And I was just 1 year or so after university. And I was like, yay. So people always read the fine small print in the bottom because you can find all kinds of interesting things there. So I signed up for Isaac. 1 month later, I have another job in Mumbai. In a few months later, I go from Delhi to Mumbai. Were all kinds of different troubles. For example, I was just out of university and just had a few small jobs, didn't have any money to go to India to buy tickets and so on. So I had to borrow. Another friend helped me with that, who was also a participant of Cycle, by the way, and will be joining us maybe tomorrow. Anyway, I finally come to Mumbai and start working for a company which distributes games, video games, official video games, consoles, peripherals, across all India. They're the only company has official license to distribute Sony, EA, Capcom, all the biggest labels. And they have their own shops, and I start working on their e-commerce platform, on their own brand Game for You, where you can buy these official games. I start working on it. I really didn't like Mumbai that much. Again, I like the Indian culture, the food, the cultures, the languages, the foods, everything, the people. I don't like this chaos. I don't like that you have to literally get a shower if you come to work because there's so much dust on the way to work that you literally have to wash your hands and face, and that's the same way when you get back. There's so many cars and dust and construction there. I didn't like the corruption. India has a really huge problem with corruption. You, as a white person, you're expected to pay bribes everywhere. So I think half a year later, I get really bored of all these troubles. My work is not as exciting. I want to move to my own business or go do something exciting. I try all kinds of things in India. I went and acted in 3 Bollywood movies as an extra, and in dance scenes and whatever, because we like white people in the background and it looks like it's okay and it's like a good movie then. From that I started a small kind of almost like a business where I would find other white extras for Bollywood agents. I set up a blog, I set up a Facebook channel, none of existing agents were doing that. And up to this day, I get people writing me, hey, I'm arriving to Mumbai, I want to act as a movie extra in Bollywood. Up to this day, 6 whatever years later. And I still send them. I would get like 500 rupees, I think, for a person, and so on. I tried all kinds of things in India, nothing really took off, and I was really bored of corruption and everything else. And then through my parents, who used to sell clothes, this Turkish businessman learned that I am in India and I'm doing this e-commerce thing, and he's, well, come to Turkey. We're gonna build a e-commerce website for Russia, and we're gonna sell our clothes and shoes and bags that we didn't sell in our shops as a discount retailer e-commerce website. I say, yes, okay, let's do it. And 2 days later, I'm in Istanbul. On the way to the airport, I wrote an email to my colleagues, basically, guys, I'm leaving. Sorry, it's not you, it's me. They weren't very happy about it, but I mean, they saw it coming. Anyway, in Istanbul, we started working on this website. I found the developers who were going to build the website. I found they already have a storage and shops in Moscow. I found people who were going to distribute goods in Moscow. We found the payment systems and how we're going to do cash, so the couriers can accept cash. We set up basically the whole process, started almost developing the kind of like the first prototype of a website, and then communication with the Turkish businessman and his employees is kind of becoming less active and less active and less active from their side. 3 months later, after 3 months of working on this day and night, they kind of stopped replying at all, and then I'm just starting to like push this guy in, what's happening, what's on. Apparently they got screwed by the Russians, so their existing shops they had, by really a large amount of money, and they were in serious trouble, and they need a lot of money also to buy goods to make clothes for the next year's season. So they were basically just abandoning the whole project. Again, total failure, nothing happened to it, learned a lot. and I end up back in Lithuania again, well, nothing. So next, I just look for a quick job because I'm totally out of money after recent successful projects, and I joined Startup Highway because I was already going to Startup Jam. I already knew the owners of Startup Highway, which is like a startup accelerator program they're investing in startups and they're helping startups develop faster and take off and so on. I already knew them because I was going to events with Paulus and alone to startup events, so I knew these people. They knew me. They knew that I'm an outgoing person. I have an attitude. They know that I'm interested in this field, and they know that I go for opportunities. So I go for their opportunity, and I work for them in marketing and just doing web projects and attracting potential startups to their accelerator program. The way I would do it, one of the things I would do is just go to events and fully participate in events just like a regular participant. And this way you really get to know people. Hackathons, seminars, workshops, you participate in trainings, you participate, you learn with them. And then they learn about you, that you're a good person, you build a rapport. And then I would recruit them for a Startup Highway Accelerator, which worked really well, actually. But in one of those events, I joined the team with this guy, and we actually won the third place. And top 3 places get tickets to the United States to go and develop their idea further. Free tickets, free housing, joining this program in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. And I was like, well, I have to go for this, right? It's my attitude. This is what I'm really interested in, opportunity, going for opportunity. And we went, so I said goodbye to Startup Highway people. Again, not very happy that I was leaving, but we're still good friends because I keep providing them opportunities to them by introductions and helping them and so on and so on. But I go to Silicon Valley, this guy, and we tried to develop this idea. It was called Gig Basket, a place to organize your job search information, because nowadays when you look for jobs, it's in multiple locations. You get offers via email, social media. So we created a place to organize it, save it quickly to a bookmark, let it makes it like a browser extension. Just click on it, it scrapes the page, add everything to Gig Basket, so you don't need to like manually copy it. Then you can add interview information, job offer information, salaries, and so on and so on. We spent 3 months in Silicon Valley, spent a lot of money also. It didn't work out. We didn't get along that well. The idea wasn't taking off as we expected. And the guy was already working on this website for a long time. He had very strong ownership of it, but didn't have a clear vision how to develop it. So I had, like, always usually come up with like strong ideas how to move forward, and I just, if they fail, then I only move forward. So we didn't get along, short story, and we split. But through these 3 months in Silicon Valley, I probably added just to my LinkedIn a couple thousand of people because I was going to 2 events probably per day. I was working from co-working spaces. I was getting to know everyone in co-working spaces. I was going to events. I was getting to know everyone in these events. I was just as outgoing as possible. And just out of this, straight away after this, I got from one of the guys, from one of the startups that I worked with, got an offer to join them as a marketing person. And now, even 4 years later, just now I am discussing and negotiating about a new opportunity, which comes from a person that I met in Silicon Valley 4 years ago. If you know, again, if you have attitude, you know your field, and you're just going in it systematically, day by day, year by year, you keep going for opportunities, the opportunities will start coming to you. Even the more you get involved, the more opportunities there's going to be for you. In Silicon Valley, I actually lived in an apartment. We're renting an apartment with Belarusian startups, Belarusian entrepreneurs. who were doing already pretty well, and now they're doing even better. And we became really good friends. And once my attempt to gig basket didn't work out, I tried working with a Belarusian startup, but I didn't see my future with this company. My friends invited me just to come. Hey, come to Minsk. It's gonna be a hackathon. It's gonna be fun. We go out and in Minsk. We'll show you around. I haven't been to Minsk. I was like, that's an opportunity. There's also a hackathon. Hackathon is an event for startups and developers and designers and entrepreneurs who just want to practice and build something in 48 hours, and the best tools win. Basically, it's kind of like a competition. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I like. So I got the visa. Actually, again, with Paulus, we went to Minsk because Paulus is also outgoing and an opportunistic person. We went to Minsk to this hackathon. And that's where I met Anton and Zhenya from Minsk, with whom we started TrideDeck, my current existing startup, which we're working 3.5 years later. We were, at that point of time, we were all working as freelancers or in digital agencies, building websites. I was working in this agency in Vilnius. Zhenya, our CTO, was working in Minsk as a developer for this big outsourcing company. Anton was a designer. We all had the same kind of environment and work issues. One of them was working with clients. For non-technical people, it's really hard to leave feedback on websites and designs what you're making for them. So we couldn't find anything that any tools that would solve this problem. So we came up with an idea, simple solution. You click on a button, you can mark some area in a website or design, and then basically the screenshot gets captured, technical details get captured, links get captured. A person doesn't need to worry about any of that technical stuff. And it's very easy for designers and developers to track it and manage it. They get it in their project management systems, in their bot tracking systems, and so on. So we actually were one of the winners of the hackathon. And straight after that, we got an offer to participate in selection for accelerator in Finland, where they basically give you a program for free. They give you some small money, and not even investment, just grant to survive, and they help you build this product and so on. We went for it and we got into Startup Sound. And this happened again and again and again. And now, after 3 years of TrideDeck, we're generating still quite small, but nice revenue. We're slowly growing. We have 2 more products we're going to be launching soon. A kind of one product for big enterprises. It's a chat which works very well with in large corporation environment. It also has a chat bot, so which provide you support for technical questions and so on. And we keep getting offers and ideas and suggestions and partnerships and so on. So for all of this, again, I just kind of want to point out as like attitude is number 1, finding your interest and passion, which you're gonna continue working on. So you just have to experiment and try as many things as possible and go for it. Thirdly, going for these opportunities and just doing it. People overthink, people care about all the things that don't matter and tend to forget about things that matter, which is going for it, having an attitude, trying to create value, and then see what works, throwing whatever you want to, what kind of idiom you want to use here, throwing spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. 90% of spaghetti is going to fall down, something is going to work out. All this experience and value, it builds, it gathers knowledge in you, the network that you find, and so on. So right now, I want you guys here, and maybe for the internet people, I want to give 2 suggestions what you can start doing right now if you're interested in startups and you're looking for an easy way to get them all. So one of the things I did while we were working with TrideDeck, we have over 27,000 users right now on TrideDeck all over the world. And from one side, we have digital agents, freelancers, developers, designers, everyone who's creating websites. From other side, we have non-technical people and businesses who want websites. And our tool is for communication between them. But a lot of people know that we can provide also maybe help find developers and designers and digital agencies, because we have thousands of them. And when people ask us about who can develop a website for us, so we can connect the clients. And we keep getting questions for people to connect us to designers, developers, app developers, and so on. So we came up with the idea of why not we just somehow make us like a different startup from it. So we simply, again, actually, with Paulius built the website, started Lithuania, because he was experiencing the same thing. Not startup Lithuania, I'm sorry. Outsource Lithuania. I'm gonna show it on the screen. Hello, internet people. Desktop one, I guess. All right. And hopefully internet people will be seeing my screen right now. Oops.
Yes, you can see it.
Great. So, Paulius can confirm this literally took a few days to generate the idea, talk about how to do it, and launch the website. We just took a template online, and then what we did is we just looked at our friends and tracked the clients and people we knew from Lithuania who were working in digital agencies or were freelancers, and simply posted their portfolios. Literally, I would say like 2 days of work of brainstorming, if you put it all together, brainstorming, looking at how to make a designs, and collecting maybe 3 days of work, I don't know. Cost us probably like, what, $8 for domain? And I think the whole project cost us like $20 to build. And then we just started spreading the word in social media and so on. People really liked the idea, because we have a lot of developers in Lithuania. They wanted to promote their businesses. In less than a week, I think we had over 70 digital agencies sign up. Now it's probably over 100 or more. And we started getting quite some attention from public in general. Business newspapers in Lithuania wrote about us. ArcticStartup.com blog about startups wrote about us. It was really easy to get attention to this. And we started getting inflow of requests of people who want to develop this. However, neither me nor Paulius saw bigger potential here. So we started looking for a way to how to exit this. So one thing we noticed that bigger companies were interested in here to promote their services and businesses here also. So we actually got a sponsorship deal from Teo, which is the biggest telecommunication company in Lithuania. Hey, they paid us a nice amount of money to just basically be here in this website. And then the other websites, because we also created Outsource Ukraine. We started working on Outsource Belarus, Outsource Poland, and so on. But then once we saw we're not interested to further develop it, we sold it. And literally investment in total, I would say, yeah, $20 or less, definitely less than $50. I would say that total revenue that we generated from this in less than a few months was, I think in total was over 6,000 euros. So really simple idea. Right now it's, we sold it to another Lithuanian businessman, which I'm happy to connect anyone who is looking for either developers or designers with. Or if you're interested in starting this in your country, especially in Belarus, just go for it. Buy a domain, just do it. Internet people, wherever you are, whatever, especially like Eastern European countries, make an English website, listing some agencies, start working with it. As long as you provide value through information about these digital agencies, super easy to get started. Buy a domain, launch it on some template. I'll connect you with people who are building a bigger platform of these digital agencies, and that's it. And you can just do it. That's one opportunity for you, and I'm happy to help. So here's an opportunity for you. So it really depends on if you're gonna take it. So that's opportunity number one. Opportunity number two. Recently, there was a political scandal in Lithuania, and there was lots of noise in media. And I started thinking, well, how we can apply like kind of this business entrepreneurship freedom ideas to this case. And I thought, well, politicians and political parties don't have incentives to be transparent and show their information to public and continue being transparent on the long term. Why don't we help them, especially in a time of crisis? If so, let's say you're a political party, you get in a corruption scandal, and that's going to happen for all political parties sooner or later. So it's just a matter of time. And after this corruption scandal, you want to wash away all these bad things that that people blame you on. So why not just show all your financial and other data in some third-party platform, and this way prove that you're fully transparent and you're willing to change, or you're already free of all the corruption and bad things that happened in the past. And this is where political transparency idea came from. By the way, Grace, can we see the slides?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. So I'm just gonna skip through a few slides, but basically my vision was, well, through this platform, we're gonna provide them a way to easily show their data, because they won't have to build a website, they won't have to build their own graphs and infographics. They can just plug their data, and they can show it to public, and public can check it. There's someone who would verify it, something like Transparency International and so on. And this is a worldwide problem, by the way. It's not only Lithuania or Eastern Europe, because we Eastern Europeans always think, oh, it's so bad in Eastern Europe. There's a lot worse places. I already mentioned how bad it is with corruption in India. What's going on with Brazil right now, where president is getting impeached. Most of politicians are involved in huge corruption scandals of basically taking bribes to give projects to this to their friends and to this petrol company and so on. Like, yeah, let's not get them. Oh, I'm not even talking about the United States, which sometimes I think is the most corrupt country in the world with all the super PACs, and you need $1 billion to get elected. $1 billion Obama spent to get elected. How can you not be bought by a freaking special interest after taking $1 billion from businesses? Hillary, if I'm correct, already raised over $400 million from banks, and she's saying that she's gonna control whatever. Yes. So there's a huge problem. And there's no current solutions for this. There's no websites, there's no platforms which would make transparency first software, which would be reliable, verifiable, and so on. There's a lot of campaign management tools, everything to get elected. How to manage your funds to get elected, how to manage your volunteers to get elected, how to do social media to get elected. There's a lot of these. So solution is to build this platform, which would be real-time, which would be based maybe on blockchain. So there would be reliable, like, for example, NGOs like Transparency International, who would have, who could say that this is all transparent, we control this data, we control this platform, and it's at least to a certain level of certainty, it can't be corrupted. And then you also provide this value for political parties, because it's easy for them to show this data. Then they can track their members, track their member engagement. Most of the parties have no freaking clue right now how many active political party members we have. We have an Excel sheet with everyone who has registered in the past 20 years. 80% of those people have no clue that they're still on that sheet, just like I am. I still get the spam from this party that I joined 8 years ago, but I haven't been a member for 6 years. I mean, yeah. So how we would do it? Well, it would look something like this. You would plug your Excel sheets, or reports that you download from your bank, upload it to the platform, and then it would break down your incoming, your donations from businesses and individuals. It would break down your party member fees. So you can see your incoming money, and then once you click on expenses, you would see where the money is going to. So what projects, if they're going for advertising, for specific party branches, and so on. And then you also would have a kind of like what's going on right now, kind of like a calendar, and you could see what party members are up to, what events they're participating, and so on and so on. So this is just a concept, but we have actually done more designs, and we are willing to give these away to anyone who wants to do this. We're giving away this political transparency domain, designs, this deck, my advice, connections to already talk to political parties and Transparency International. And anyone who wants to do it, just write to me why you want to do it, and you can do it, because I don't have time to do this. I think this should happen. So anyone who's up for it, feel free.
No, it wouldn't work for Belarus.
Up to a certain level. Like, it really depends on how you do it. You can do it, you can just do certain types of data, or you can apply this for NGOs. There's always a way. Again, attitude, so openness for new ideas, knowing what's interesting for you. So if it's not interesting for you, well, don't bother. But then be open for options. Don't just say, well, it's not going to work.
Let me jump in there. Suppose somebody did this in Belarus, and all the opposition, the politicians, put all their financials on their transparency, and only the dictator was, no, I'm not doing that. I mean, even if it wouldn't change everything, it would make everything clear and obvious. There would still be value.
We agree that Belarus is definitely a hard case. But if the harder the case, the harder the problem, the bigger the opportunity.
Yeah,
so, but let's keep this for the discussion afterwards. So we have, I have discussed with multiple people about potential business models, and I can share it with the person who's interested, because you can even charge parties for, or you can charge election committees. You can try to sell it to basically governments to manage parties during elections, because now they need to get all these reports from politicians, and it's really a mess. There's all kinds of user acquisition strategies that we can, I have thought about, where you can just basically set up Google alerts for political scandals and approach parties that get involved all around the world in corruption scandals. And really, I mean, or just find the new parties. So every other day you get a new party somewhere in a country, or in some other country, and this new party is always looking how to differentiate from the establishment. So, I mean, there's all kinds of ideas. Team doesn't matter. Yeah, so if not you, then who? Because I'm not gonna do it. So that's it, and now discussion or questions.
Any questions, anybody?
Is the last idea, is that for elections only, or is it in general running costs?
Whatever you want to do, but we can talk about it.
No, I'm just asking.
So I thought about it specifically to, okay, how do we?
There you go.
I thought about it specifically for election, for political parties who are not in election campaigns usually, because if there's election coming, it's going to be a really sensitive period, and political parties are not going to want and not going to have time to take on new tools. So this is for events when something corrupt happens or something bad happens for a political party. It won't wash away the corruption and bad image, so they would want to do it. So, but you can do it for elections. You can use it for NGOs, so they can show how they're spending their donations, and then you would be willing to donate more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any other questions?
So, did you do what you did in your 8 years? So, an entrepreneur.
I would do everything differently. This is I hate this question. I hate this question because it's smart, but if you think about it, it has no logic behind it. Because even like because I know all these things now and I didn't know back when. But that even doesn't matter because it goes against the fundamentals of what you need to do and how you need to think if you want to do a startup. Don't overthink it. Attitude, you're going out, you're trying to start a business, is gonna be freaking hard. You're looking for people and you're just going for it. Once you find this opportunity, just freaking do it. Don't wait, don't overthink it. Don't overthink, well, maybe I need to learn more and do more research. No, you don't, because you don't know what information you need to look for. So if you have an idea, go out, set up a prototype, test it out, then you'll find out what you need to research. Maybe you need to research accounting, maybe you need to find some legal environment to find out if you can actually do it and how you can do it and so on, if there is business behind it. So don't overthink it. Attitude, your interest, your passion, and just go for it. Just do it. Sorry if I was a bit aggressive answering this. Yes.
There's an interesting trend recently, maybe in Belarus and us in a year or so, that more and more businessmen and guys that are related to the startup community used to start saying that find the startup, start the business. Because there is a bunch of young guys, like a lot of them, like I don't know, like a lot, hanging around in co-working, like drinking smoothie and everything, and with MacBooks and smart faces and talking about the ideas, and nothing happens. Basically, they either they just disappear.
Yeah, I got the question.
And basically,
but I understand the question.
They're thinking about.
Yes, I hear this every day. So
you repeat for the internet.
The question is basically.
What's the difference?
There is no difference. Business is business, and some businesses are startups. The only difference is that having a kebab kiosk is a business. Building a startup, when I say startup, I mean specifically a business which is doing something with technology, with internet, which can be highly scalable and can grow potentially, if the idea works out, can grow really fast. For me, startup is just the term. These people who say this are wrong. They don't have an argument. It's basically just like saying, it's basically like older guys saying, "Oh, these younger guys, they don't know what they're doing." It's basically just stupid to even say this, because there's so many successful startups. So many successful startups from Belarus. I mean, Viber, PandaDoc, Wargaming, all of these are startups. What the freaking hell are you talking about? Wargaming has bigger revenue than GDP of Lithuania, and probably probably close or even bigger than GDP of Belarus, especially.
Why are you saying that Wargaming is a startup? It's been creating games for like 20 years or something.
So 20 years ago, it was a startup. If you're building,
it wasn't like a genius idea. It was a kind of stupid game.
Doesn't matter. Then what matters is attitude. Is having your attitude, having your interests, video games, online games, multi-platform, multiplayer games, going for opportunity and just doing it. They build out the game. Of course, they're not a startup now. They're not looking for investing. They're not investing in other companies. They're building all kinds of other businesses and so on and so on. It's a conglomerate. It's a big corporation now. It's thousands of people and employees. But it's an excellent example of a startup. And I can just continue, like, yeah, PandaDoc from recent guys, Splitmetrics. These are all startups from Belarus doing awesome things. Everyone, if dev buy used to be a startup. Everything that is online right now and is a successful business in Belarus used to be a startup. It's just a term, and people get hang of it and try to, especially in Belarus, try to put other people down. So, and this is also for you, try to be more optimistic, smile like for yoga. And so again, don't listen to other people that much or potential clients, then really listen to them. But everyone else doesn't really freaking matter.
We had the same question online, so you've already answered it. But
Yeah.
let me throw.
Get alive, guys. Get alive and go do something instead of listening what people think about one term or another. Doesn't matter. People will say this thing about accelerators or investors or whatever. You have you're at certain position. You have available certain information. You're interested in one part of it, and you need to make a decision now. So if it's if accelerator or startup idea looks like a good thing for you, just go for it. If you fail of it, you'll have your experience and you can decide later.
I want to relate this to the conversation we had yesterday about emotional intelligence. And somebody said, well, what about introverts? And of course, it's music to my ears to hear you say it's all about attitude. What about people who don't feel like they specialize in attitude? Are they hopeless? Can they never get into this world? Or can
introverts? Most of startup entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, are introverts. Think about Larry Page or Brin or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. Do they look like extroverts? Now they're Polish, now they can talk, but look at their young age, just look at up of them on, they're geeks, they don't know how to speak. Polus is an introvert, and now he's a successful entrepreneur in Lithuania. If you're an introvert, that means you like to spend more time with yourself and just work on what you like. So that's perfect for you for internet business, because all you need is you and your laptop, and you just build it. Write your blog, build your website, develop your app. You don't need other people. That's perfect for you.
Good answer. Any other questions?
Right. What are your plans for the future? You said that you're not going to work on this political project, so.
We're continuing to work with TrackDeck. We have 2 more projects. We have, right now we're negotiating another investment round. And we're looking to expand in the United States even more. Most of our clients are already from the United States, but now we're looking to expand to these new products for bigger companies.
All right.
Just your opinion, what do you think the majority of startups fail? It's bad time, bad idea, bad team, bad luck, just from your experience?
So firstly, majority of businesses fail.
Yeah.
That's it, like dot. So, I mean, does it need any other explanation? So just startups are even riskier than like kebab kiosk, because if you're building a kebab kiosk, you know where you're gonna put it. You know that Sasha and Valer are gonna come for kebab and their hangover. You pretty much have a very clear business model. You can very clearly calculate your expenses, how much initial capital you're gonna need, and it's not that big. So you can borrow this money maybe from your friends or the bank. The bank will understand. It's a very simple business model, right? So it's easier to borrow from a bank. You don't need to spend much money. And put your car or your flat, up for a loan for a bank. Get the money, build the cost. Very clear. Everyone understands what you're doing. Everyone is saying, "Great, I'm gonna code to your kebab cost now." You get an initial support, and then imagine you started thinking about, well, I'm gonna build this artificial intelligence chatbot, which is gonna help people who want to find information about printers and other gadgets, so it's easier for them just to buy it. Your mother's not gonna understand it. Your parents, your most of your friends not gonna understand it. You go for it, you're gonna have to, quit your job. So people not gonna understand you. There's gonna be all kinds of social pressure for you. You don't know really what you're doing. Maybe, you have this problem, this idea, you want to solve it, but you don't have a background in AI, machine learning, semantics, and developing stuff and design and whatever else you're going to need. So there's a lot of things to learn. There's a lot of unknowns. It's just more risky. But in general, all businesses have risk of failure. 80% of businesses fail, startups just 95% fail, and so on. So then you have a lot of different things, you know, how is good is your team, your product, and so on and so on. Further, in the beginning, it's attitude, your specific interests, taking on these opportunities and trying to maximize on the information, optimize for information that you have in the current location right now. So just make decisions and move faster. Again, yeah, I'm repeating myself.
That's good.
Any more questions, or I can?
Well, actually, following up on that, in regular, you said 80% of businesses fail, and from what I understand, the most common cause of business failure in general is undercapitalized. They underestimate how much money they need to get going.
I don't
But in
agree with
startups,
this.
no, I said general business.
I just don't
Okay,
agree.
fine. But in startups, you have no startup capital, and you go look for the money later. Is there any critical variable there? I mean,
Right. So then people die from obesity and heart failure. Everyone says, well, they died from obesity. But what really killed them is not eating properly for years and years and years and years, not working out for years and years and years. So I would say the problem was that they were not living properly, and so businesses don't fail because of the capital. As a result, we don't have money, so it's not the cult. We don't have the money in the bank. The problem was that the team wasn't good enough. So we were either not getting along. They were arguing and not focusing on the business and generating revenue. They were maybe don't have the knowledge how to do this, so they just simply couldn't sell as much or build the product. And maybe they built the product, but and again come back that you don't know how to build the product. So the problem is that I would say, you know, people making businesses, no one knows everything, and you end up not enough cash for either continue business or start the business, and you fail because of lack of cash flow. It's the result, not the.
this is startup undercapitalized to begin. But okay,
For
I
startups,
get what you're saying.
For startups, it's the same. It all breaks down to the team. If you know what you're doing, it's really easy to start startups because the technologies are so cheap right now. Everything, building gadgets is becoming so easy. You can get Arduinos and boards to start hacking something. There is hacker spaces even everywhere in Vilnius, in Minsk, where you can go for free and start building something. It's so really cheap to start building something. Then you have Kickstarter, Indiegogo, where you can crowdsource for this. You have investors really looking forward where to pour the money if they find a decent idea. So the problem is always in yourself, and that's for the startups. It doesn't matter if for starting a business or failing later on.
One point I maybe add this traction. Failure, you don't get any customers.
Yeah, but why do you don't get attitude? If you have your interest field, just if you do your best, you're gonna learn how to either you're gonna change your product, you're gonna change your sales approach, you're gonna change it, and then you're gonna fail. The lack of traction, lack of funding is a result. It's not the cause. All right. Well, I think I'm done. Thank you. Bye-bye, internet people. So, for Thursday workshop is gonna be only for Evaldas. So free time for internet people and us also. Bye-bye.